Now then, guys, this is another episode of the Smodcast, episode 2. Thank you very much for locking in today. We are at the Unity Free Music Studios in Leeds, and today we have got a special guest. To my left, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Jake Bowen, and he comes up along. Hurry up, son. Get yourself on here.
Hello. Producer, can you just grab these, please? Thank you. Blue badge holder.
So obviously we're back here again. So we're going to do another podcast. The reception for the first one was really good, so we really do appreciate all that. Before we get a guest on today, like I said, our good friend Jake. So obviously have a crap with him, see what he's saying. So Jake, what you saying?
Alright mate, kid, how are you?
Yeah, can't stop smiling.
Proper borrow that. Alright mate, kid, how are you?
Totally well.
What have you been up to? It's Karen.
Working an absolute ton.
Yeah.
Yeah man, just finished my talk work, haven't I? But things have been dead quiet now since, to be fair. I've just been trying to crack on with loads of music bits, to be honest.
What's your tour been about?
So,
Been seeing bits.
Sorry?
I've been seeing bits but what's the actual crack about it?
Yeah, so I work for Opera North as one of the stage technicians on like a bit of a seasonal contract set. So I'll work with them from beginning of September through the end of April time, roughly, and then off until September again. So 6 months of the year essentially. But yeah, we just each tour different shows. So this one we did 2 different shows. One was like they were saying it was set in like a council estate garden in Bradford, right? And I tell you now, it looked exactly like that.
Yeah.
I seen it on your
It was unreal.
What
Like,
the stage like set up and
Do you know when you posted that? I thought you were like chilling in someone's garden.
Yeah, was that realistic?
Yeah,
Yeah.
realistic.
What was the name of the show?
So the opera was called Orpheus, but like they're the names of the operas, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I feel like they get applied to like loads of different shows, loads of different directors and creators will do their spin on it. And
Oh,
stuff like
right, I
that,
see.
and,
Okay, right.
You know what I mean? But it was absolutely phenomenal, man.
Yeah. What did you have to do then?
So we literally build like the stages, all the
so
sets,
setting up.
everything. Yeah, it's like loads of a bit of rigging involved. Like you hang things from like big massive motors for the grid, obviously to get big bits of scenery in the air.
Yeah.
All the stage, you know, then you've got all your set design and everything that goes on. It's usually a part of a lot of the infrastructure of the stage anyway and stuff. Just a lot of bolts, a lot of like drilling, a lot of screwing, a lot of heavy lifting type thing.
Are you doing anything like while the show's like on as well, running?
Depends on the show, completely
Yeah.
depends on the show. I've worked on shows before where like, I did Grease for 2 weeks.
Oh,
at
shut
Leeds
up,
on
mate.
Theatre,
That'd be
right?
mental.
Unbelievable.
I love Grease, mate. Love a bit of Grease,
I
mate.
loves a bit of Grease.
Yeah.
Mate, looking after Peter Andre for 2 weeks.
Literally.
I can't remember the name.
Peter Andre was on this like.
Yeah.
Shut up.
He was the.
What was he like performing in it?
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen Grease, but like he was the. He's the. Don't want to say head teacher, but you know when they do like the big ball and like there's that older guy on the mic.
Yeah. And away we go.
Yeah,
Johnny
yeah.
Font. No, it's
Johnny-
no. I was thinking that I was gonna say Johnny Fontaine, but that's type of Godfather, isn't it? Oh, what's he called?
I can't remember.
Yeah, but I know you're on about
But yeah. So it is just off it. Like you do meet loads of crazy people and stuff. Obviously, depending on how big the show is and stuff. But that show, for example, we didn't stop for the entire time.
Is that the
it was
most
on.
famous person you've worked alongside though? Like
It's
in
seen
that
of the
sense,
theatre sense. Yeah.
Peter Andre, of course, mate. Mysterious girls and that.
His
Do you know
his
what I mean?
manager or something that he was with, I can't remember his name, right? But he was like, honest. I've been his best mate for like 30 years. Don't ask me how. That's all he kept saying. He's, like, he's the absolute bane of my life, and you could tell he's a proper just cheeky bastard. Funny cheeky bastard.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
He's just
like
cheesy.
proper like.
Yeah.
Just a bit
I've always
cheesy.
thought,
Yeah,
I've always
well
liked
cheesy.
his character though. Like I've seen him on bits and bobs.
He
and
just
stuff.
cheesy
Yeah,
sound like
yeah, he's
actually,
cheesy,
he's
but like I
proper
feel like he's a good guy though as well. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Cheese
Yeah, I
ball.
sort of get that.
But
Cheese
like,
ball.
I'm a
Yeah.
cheese ball. Do you know what I mean? I'm a good guy. It's alright to be a cheese ball.
Mickey when he went to Thailand going in like the river and all that, like
Okay.
over and all like that, there's a mysterious girl.
The music video for that though, do you know what I mean? It was my inspiration for when I was training before I went to Thailand.
About to get in his body, yeah.
Yeah.
That's some good info because he is ripped up and that.
Ripped
isn't
a
he?
bit. I don't know about these days. He might be dad bod.
True, that, like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was about 20 years ago.
Yeah, but that bod's a new thing now, though, isn't it, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
But yeah, so in that show, for example, there's loads going on. There's like loads of scene changes. There's loads of live scene changes where like we'd have to actually go on the stage while the show's running. Usually lights and that come down, but like moving like massive bits of scene.
Yeah, when you're changing a setting.
Yeah. So you've got interval changes where like the full like curtain comes in and everything like that, and obviously you can't be seen and stuff. But you do live scene changes as well, and obviously like that the pressure's on then because you just have to box it. The show's running, they can see. Usually, like I say, lights go down, but
you're just like little shadows in the background, sorting all the shit
you're
out.
like moving bits. I saw like we had to move this absolutely huge truck before, a steel truck. But obviously in theatres, like the very good majority of them, because they're all so old, they're on what's called a raked stage. So they're like that. You know what I mean? They're not flat. They're like that. So obviously when you're looking out from the auditorium, you kind of get the full perspective.
You can see it on the back and that.
But
makes
obviously,
sense.
you know what I mean? Moving like a 500 kilo bit of steel, like a bit of steel on a truck of wheels on a slanted stage, live.
Heavy work.
Jesus Christ. How many people have you doing that like?
They'll have enough hands on it, don't get me wrong, and stuff like that. But there's in like while you're doing that, you'll have like cast running all over the place. It's pitch black, you know what I mean? So it's just intense. But then like this season, for example, when we've been doing this talk, shows have been so quiet. Like we didn't have anything to do. We like, depending on where we were, sometimes we had to like adapt the set and the scenery to fit the stage and stuff, and we had to lose bits of scenery and set and stuff. But sometimes we had to like, in the interval when the lights and all that came down and whatnot, you just move like a little bit just to make sure something maybe dropping in from above could like land and stuff like that. But in terms of like any live bits or actually needed to be on stage, didn't do anything, so it was just a lot of chill.
I seen one video. Was it? Who were you working with? Were you working with Buckle or someone?
No, so Toby and Kyle.
Toby, I think I seen them on the trapeze thing.
The trapeze?
The thing that went up in the air.
Oh,
was like,
at the start of this year.
Yeah, it was like, I defo was having a go at that before the end of the...
Yeah, man, it was dead good that. So it was on this show called Carmen, and this was like very, like Moulin Rouge, and that like New York burlesque style show. It was wicked. Yeah. And at the start of the show, the main like singer, she drops in on the, like from the sky on this like big seat type thing that we have to power on motors and stuff.
Nice.
There's loads to it, man. I honestly, when I think about it, I cannot believe I've ended up in this line of work, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sounds unreal.
Like, how did you get into it?
I got laid off from my previous job. I was doing that. I did that event management job for someone I'm not going to mention.
You get no promotion off us.
What a couple of months that was, but anyway. But yeah, I got laid off, needed work desperately, and they just, Toby messaged me saying that they needed some extra hands, just helping do all like what I'm doing now, basically. Didn't have I never worked in a theatre, never worked on a stage. I'd never picked up a drill before in my life. Before this, you know what I mean? Like as soon as I went to use a drill for the first time on this job, I remember I went down, I just went never hard enough, I was just rounding the screws off. The stage boss, Tommy, he's left us now, he works over in Milan, I think, or Monaco, or one of them. But he's around, he's like, stop fucking rounding screws! It's like high intensity in there, like there's no fucking about, there's nothing like that, and I was like, shit, you know what I mean?
DIY Bowen.
But I know, literally, mate, I learn all sorts on this job, but like that's the good thing about it, and like I said, no experience whatsoever, but it's just one of them, it's a very, very see, then do type thing, you know what I mean? Because obviously it's dangerous as well. Exactly that.
It's very hands-on in there.
Very hands-on, it's very dangerous, you need to like be...
On his first day he got there with a drill, he's like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
I was like, Toby,
I didn't sign.
Didn't
sign up for this.
Oh no, it was rough for the first bit, but then like I say, you get grips with it so easy and so quickly as well, and they like tend to be good people that you work with, if you know what I mean. And like them like shouting when they need to or something like that. It's just like that old-fashioned way of teaching because you don't do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
can't in this line of work.
Yeah.
You really can't. Especially when you get these big shows in like Greece and stuff like that. Like they don't fuck about them companies. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's they do them shows like 7 months of the year, 6 days a week sometimes on these tours. So it's drilled into them, but you need to keep up.
It is heavy for the performance as well, isn't it? Like
you only do it a certain period of the year, don't you?
I do, yeah, but then again, that's just with the opera, you know what I mean? So then, since like starting theatre work, I've then over summer this year, just around working festivals and stuff like that, I've been working at like the arena. Yeah, sound.
Just gonna put a pin in that.
Put a pin in that.
But yeah, so it's because I got like loads of experience on stages and stuff like that, and like kind of doing a similar line of work. I got a job working like self-employed for Leeds Arena, setting up shows for like Storm, seeing loads of massive bands and stuff. A lot of the same.
Sorry guys. Phones are not on silent. Whoa, strike one. Go on, continue mate, sorry.
But yeah, it's a very similar line of work in terms of like, you know, there's a lot of rigging involved. You're still setting up a stage. They've still got set. Like you do a lot more with like lighting though in LX obviously on like big gigs and stuff than you would. Like there's not as much scenery, but like very similar. So I got a job doing that.
Yeah.
To get me over summer when I wasn't frolicking in fields, you know what I mean?
Frolicking in fields.
That's a
I
bare
love it.
minimum you were doing. Anyone got a bottle opener?
It's in my keys on the coat over there, mate. So I think we've got a rigged here, haven't we? Bad man.
No, what I think's good though is the fact that like you're still sort of doing work in sort of music and music-based stuff. Because that's what your love is, do you know what I mean? Your passion.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like it's worked really well when I think about it.
Yeah.
Because it is also linked in, like I say, like the biggest thing about I think being a musician and trying to work in that industry is your networking. It is your social circle. You know what I mean? It is all these people that you need to meet. That you know, you meet one person that can lead you on to something else. That's how exactly how it's worked with me in this job, and just with people involved in music. Massively.
As even like in like the club scene or whatever scene, the promoting scene. Like
exactly that. Even just going to events.
It's just links, isn't it? Like
yeah, constantly meeting people who you can get involved with, or like, they can potentially like work for you on something. You know what I mean? Like that's how. It's like that's really relevant with a lot of our mates as well. You know, when like in regards to doing events and stuff like that. Like when we're needing a videographer or an artist or something like that. 9 times out of 10, it's someone that we know. I mean, you don't go searching for that. So. It's the exact same in this line of work, regardless if it's not like directly related to music. It's still involved in the industry. That's a big part of the music industry as well. You know what I mean? In terms of setting up stages and stuff, and all of that. Like I'm looking to do my rigging and ropes course with this job. They're thinking about putting me on it next year.
They'll pay for that.
Yeah, they'll pay for that completely. I could easy go anywhere to do that, like festival work, sort of massive stages.
That's when you start getting paid quids, you know.
It's decent. It's exactly.
When I was doing that thing for Elias at Boomtown, you know, the acoustic panels, like the riggers that were on there, like when we were de-rigging it down, like the guy there, the rigger, he was like, he needed to be finished that day because he was like going like to London to like get on the set of like the Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like you know, like silly money.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's not necessarily just like
music,
is
like
it?
Leaving
Like
Boomtown then, and he was going to like London and like rigging up the Star Wars set and that.
it's mad.
And he was self-employed freelancing.
Movies and all sorts, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
man, like completely. And that's like another thing with this job. They want me to do that because they kind of want me, like, they know I'd prefer to work in a different department in this job, which is up on the flies, controlling everything that comes like in and out of the stage, all the rigging aspects and stuff like that. I'm well interested in it. And I've been doing bits of it since I've started with them and stuff. So that's how this is all came about. But for example, like if I learn this, like Leeds Theatre, for example, they've got an electronic flying system. It's all like it's all the bars drop in and out on these like powered motors.
Is that do you know in town? Is that the theatre like where all the opera and stuff like?
Yeah, on Brigitte.
Yeah, Brigitte.
Yeah, Belgrave and all that.
Yeah, I've seen that theatre.
But yeah, I think it's like one of 2 venues in the UK that has an electronic one. I thought it was a norm, because that was the first place I worked. I just thought, well, if that's a thing, like why wouldn't it be anywhere? But everywhere else is still the old school counterweight. You know what I mean? It's a counterweight.
Sketchy that as well, because you.
How many edges do you have on the ropes?
Depending on basically
depending on the weight.
So say if something I feel like I could be wrong here, but something weighs like it's a hefty weight, 250 kilos plus. It's usually set up over 2 bars rather than just one. Yeah. So obviously you can have 2 people pulling the ropes, but it is a counterweight system. You know what I mean? So like you do get it going, it does move. Obviously you need to stop it.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you trust them with someone's like legs at least the legs, if not the life. Do you know what I mean?
You wear like gloves and that when you're rigging it, because mate, if you're trying to.
You can do. Tend to just. I don't need. I haven't started to yet, but like, I mean, you can see my hands. You know what I mean? They are like dry and stuff just off doing that. And that was weeks ago now. But you can use chalk. Tends to be better. Better grip and stuff. But like counterweight system. So you say, you know what I mean? It's 500 kilo bit of cedar you need to rig up. That's 500 kilos worth of weight you need to put on. That's you know what I mean.
Yeah, so it's sort of balanced the weight out, but then you're all like in control of like the up and down and
everything. But yeah, so that's kind of the crack with everywhere else. But these electronic systems and stuff like that, if I get trained up on that, that's used in so many other industries anyway. It's used on like the Navy on ships and all sorts. It's just that particular system. You know, and my boss was saying like, there's a lot of people who can do one or the other, but there's not that many people who do both and stuff. So if we can make it happen, we're going to, because it'll just open so many doors.
So like, this is where you're at now.
Yeah.
Can you give us a background of where you've came from? for the viewers more so, like, why did you go to uni? What did you do? And how the hell have you got into this?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's a long ass story.
Whoa, yeah.
We've got time, mate. Don't worry about it.
Well, obviously, I remember, I got into my music from, like, dead young. Like, I can't even remember, like, even earlier when I was, like, this big. Just through my family, you know what I mean? Like, when we'd always, a lot of our weekends were spent around my uncle's house. And I've got, like, so many memories of being around our Tommy and Karen's house, right? He's a big cook, he loves his cooking. Just loads of his family friends would go around, but he was well into his tunes as well. Like, from everything from, like, reggae to ska to Motown, which is like my dad as well. My dad's absolutely obsessed with his, like, proper old school dub steppers, Motown, funk, soul. So I grew up, I've got vivid memories of growing up eating mince gran, which I'm also probably...
Yeah, they go hand in hand, like, don't they?
No, exactly. And wicked tunes. Never, like, obviously, like, you know, I went through that phase as a kid of just being obsessed in the charts, you know what I mean? Who didn't?
Yeah.
But also always have a love for, like, cultural
is anyone
music.
in your family a musician?
Nah.
No,
Just always been at the tunes. My dad always loved his records.
I think you mentioned before, someone in your family, either your dad or mum, haven't they got a big vinyl collection?
My dad's got
like,
a fair few.
multiple stuff.
I feel like that must have been my dad. I was on about, to be honest, when I think about it. He's like, I haven't actually seen his full six, but he does love his, like, I know he's got a massive collection of records in the loft. And I've only seen, he's got like a box downstairs what he keeps in his cupboard in his room, and that's what I've had a flick through and stuff like that. But the tunes he's got me on, like, 12 inch and like 10 inch, 7 inch, all sorts, are just unbelievable.
Nice.
And I'm definitely gonna be occupying that very soon. Therefore, mate, the samples that you can rip from all them records.
Sample heaven.
Yeah, and then it all kind of started and things got in motion with me learning, like, having an interest in instruments and stuff, because it didn't start with saxophone, it started with guitar for me. And that was because I remember being on holiday in Benidorm, right? And we were, like, seeing this band, and they were called Carnaby Street, and they were just wicked, like, really upbeat, early 70s political, like, punky rocky band, you know what I mean? Like, very, it was ages ago, you know what I mean? I was like 9, yeah. But I just remember them being wicked, loved them, made sure we went and seen them, like, twice a week when they were on while we were away, like, they were class. And this guitar player, I was absolutely obsessed with him. He was just blowing my mind, and I remember, like, vividly at that age. So get home, mum and dad get me guitar lessons at school, get me guitar, everything like this, and then I absolutely smashed it for a year and could I do it. I remember proper just couldn't get my fingers around the strings and, like, the coordination and stuff, you know what I mean? It's the same with, like, stuff like drumming. I haven't got that multi-hand coordination and stuff.
It's like two hands.
You sort of do if you do sax.
Sax, so it's very up and down. It's just like that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's in terms of how they are and in terms of how they relate to it being on a scale, like going up or down.
The finger and an arm thing.
It's just, well, of course, so, like, your low notes, you know, you'll have all fingers down.
Yeah, it's all down
and
there.
Then you move up and up and up.
With the guitar, though, it's like many different positions.
Many different positions, loads of different shapes.
When I was in year 6, I'd done guitar lessons for about 3 weeks. I didn't have a patience, mate, like that.
Yeah, no, honestly.
I wish I did, but
could
like,
you play Wonderwall, though?
I can play shit.
I can play Wonderwall.
He sat there playing EastEnders.
Yeah, I think, like, for most people, as far as musical instruments are concerned, the guitar is the first and foremost place to go.
No, I agree. That
it's
piano,
a popular one.
You know what I mean? Definitely, without a doubt. But yeah, I just couldn't do it. But, like, I knew I still had this massive interest in music. I'd started doing music at secondary school and stuff like that by this point and stuff. So it's, you know, it's a bit more immersive, a bit more involved and stuff like that. And I remember this band, in this exact same band that we seen on holiday, there was a sax player as well, and it also did, like, spark my mind and stuff like that, and it was a completely different form of instrument, you know what I mean? It wasn't a string instrument or something, and I did love the sound. So yeah, I got lessons in that, and I just took to it like absolutely took to water. Nice. Like, I was that kid that spent every single break, whether it was a 15-minute break or like a 45-minute break, I think it was, in a practice room.
Yeah. And what age did you start learning the sax and that then?
I want to say I was like approaching 11 or 11.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Nice and early that though, isn't it?
Yeah,
think you've got a lot of time to develop a good sound there.
Oh mate, I still am obsessed with it, don't get me wrong. I know I haven't been active with it and all that for quite a while now and stuff like that, but like it's a bit of a complex situation that. But like I love everything about it, and it sits with me so well, and it just makes proper sense to us, you know what I mean? When I talk about it and when I listen to it as well. But yeah, it all just like kind of spiraled in a good way. Throughout school and stuff, I started getting involved in year 9 with stuff outside of school, like big bands and like jazz bands and stuff like that. And then, yeah, obviously knew that's what I wanted to do. And originally I did A-levels for like the first year of my college life at Macmillan while I went to secondary school. And I was absolutely shocking at them. I'm not good with like essays, words, you know what I mean, and stuff. I just
Tell me about it.
Really
you
bad
do
at
the
it.
practical, but you can't do the theory.
Smash practical, that's always been my thing.
I was like that with technology in PE, you know. Done the practicals, and then my theory brought the mark right down.
Like for me though, it's like an essay. Like if I've got time to write it, and I take my time to write it, then I can do it. But any test, put a test in front of me.
Yeah, no, I was the same. I was.
My brain's thinking about too many.
Like you've got an hour to do this, right? Well, that's fucked then.
Your brain just goes blank. You don't get a question. Your brain just goes blank.
You know, when I was in
thinking
exams
about
and
the time
that
too
as
much.
well, like I used to panic and think like, not that I've done that many, like, but when I was in exams and that, I used to panic thinking you've only got an hour, so I'd like rush through them, and I'd be like, there'd be like still like 30 minutes to go, and I'd be finished. I'd look around and everyone's still working, and then I'd be like, maybe I probably should go through these questions again. But like I'd go through and just come to the same conclusion every time.
Yeah.
So I'd be just like, yeah, the job's fucked in there. So
yeah, one of them ones.
Yeah, no, probably, but like I say, I just took to it a lot. Got myself involved with loads of stuff outside of school, which then led to, again, when I go back to networking and stuff, got me involved with so many different people. Started playing in a ska band, which then led
I
us
was just going to ask you when you tell us a story about that, because you smashed a little bit out, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I did. The majority of gigs I did were ska. And again, it's another genre of music that I did grow up a lot around, especially when I go back to my Uncle Tommy and stuff like that. Yeah, loads and loads of ska. And he got told the name, still makes me laugh.
Didn't you play at Manchester Arena or not?
Yeah, I did loads of big ska. I did a couple of big ska festivals, a load of just other like family more so orientated bandy festivals and stuff up and down the country, like pretty much every major city. Played up in a massive venue up in Edinburgh called Liquid Rooms or something like that. But yeah, Newcastle Arena, Manchester Arena, played at the Cavern in Liverpool.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
which was absolutely wicked. But yeah, a lot of this was with this band, right? I got picked up by them called the Extra Specials.
The Extra
Fair play.
I like that name, mate.
Well, it was a tribute band, obviously, to the Specials.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, a massive band that I've got so many memories.
So like all,
listening.
were you just like, is that what the thing was? You were just doing all tunes?
Yeah, but honestly, at these gigs that we were getting and like these festivals and stuff like that, it really made me realise how much of a big thing that is, because people love it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's massive, you know, especially in the ska scene. And
Oh, huge.
have you ever heard of Badness?
Yeah.
They do like madness stuff, don't they? Like
Mate, even like, I know it's like not as big in that, but like even when like Ska Beats used to do it in Borough, it was always sold out massive everywhere.
Yeah,
you
Ska
go,
Beats and
massive,
Ska Boom and that.
Yeah, exactly.
Massive, They actually smash it. I know, obviously, I've seen them a couple of times in Borough in small venues.
Yeah.
But they actually do big venues when they're on the
We went to
move and
Ringo,
that.
where was it? In the
Next to
Lip Up Fatty, you know, like
next to Albert Park.
Yeah, what's that social club called next to Albert Park? It's not the Steelies, is it?
I've played that. What, near
So
near,
side of Albert
Next
Park.
to the
So where the Kerrville is,
Just
near where
yeah,
just
on
past the
side.
fire station.
Yeah.
Roseboat? No, it's not the Roseboat.
By the way,
I remember it's got a big playing field.
it's on the little back alley thing.
Yeah.
It's like an old workman's club.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it.
There
It's
was loads of
fucking
massive
got
ska
me,
gigs there. That was where I played with Bad Manners for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we
'cause
play with Bad Manners, mate?
I know, that's unreal.
Come on.
That was
Yeah.
wicked. That was well good, that. But yeah, again, I got that gig opportunity because we supported them at Newcastle Arena with the Extra Specials. And at the end of our set, the sax player and Buster came up with us at the end saying, "Oh, would you like to have a play with us sometime?" And I was like,
There's a bear shit in the woods.
Yeah.
Mate, that's unbelievable. That though, innit? Like the sax player as well, by the way, because he could be just like, yeah, he's fucking alright. Him like fucking, let's bounce here, quick
I
time.
couldn't believe it, man.
You know what I mean? No,
Job's on the line here.
because you'll be like, what if he text me clean out the spot here? You know what I mean?
Like, I'll tell you now, there was already two of them in there, but obviously the gig up and down the country 24/7, and so I was kind of mainly doing more like the Midlands up Scotland ways gigs, you know what I mean? So because all these players and stuff that they were having, again, tend to be just session players from London, so they don't necessarily they aren't like the only horn players, for example, that'll play with them. They'll have a few different people just so like they can make sure that they're available for the gigs.
Yeah.
Because they're not tied to the band essentially. But yeah, they just came up with us at the end and were like, oh yeah, like, we'd be really like interested in you joining us sometime and stuff like that. And then he turns on and says, can you play it tonight? I'm like, oh. No. Yeah.
Have you got a spare pair of duds?
Shit in your pants.
I said, I don't want to knock down this opportunity, don't get me wrong, but I was like, and I know your tunes, but I was like, I couldn't get up there and play all them lines with you, there's no way. I said, I'd need to get that under me fingers first.
But you can read music in that though.
You can read music, but they don't have music on stage with them. It's all in the head.
Yeah, true, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
You can't go on stage with music, I would have none of that.
And I suppose like...
Couldn't even go on stage with the set list on the floor, mate, I just had to know what was coming next. 24 set list tune.
How many times did you
Well, and they
that
just wanted you to just wash up clean out.
Is that when you done Newcastle and that?
Yeah, so I would turn to Newcastle the exact same week and the following year with them. And the same band supporting, and I fell out with them massively that time, so that was just a massive...
What, the extra specials?
Yeah.
And you were on the opposite side?
Oh, yeah. It was a good feeling, it was. Yeah. But not to all of them, because all of them were sound. It was just a lad running it called Kev, he was just a chop's wife, man.
Yeah.
Proper job.
Sausage, Kevin, you're a sausage. No, it's all love though, do you know what I mean?
No,
look at him now, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
well, you know what I mean? If he didn't get me involved with them, I wouldn't have got involved with Bad Manners.
Yeah,
well, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. So it is, it's all linked.
No, mate, like, you look at loads of people from music who, like, fell out in certain areas and then, like, went on to other things. It's just the way things go, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's like, you don't like, it's not like the next time you see them, you're never going to speak to them. It's just like, you just can't work with them on a professional level.
Yeah, literally.
What's it like? One thing I want to know is like, obviously, do you know if you're playing instruments and stuff like that? Because obviously, like, I've never really done it. I've only DJ'd and that. But like, say if you're on stage live, obviously, like listening to a tune and like maybe like learning it or reading music is one thing. But when it's live, I can imagine it's a completely different kettle of fish because so many things can change. There's so many different like things that could go wrong and all. Like, what's that?
Well,
like?
that's the thing. A good band that won't happen.
Yeah.
A good band because they listen to each other. They don't listen to. They don't just have that track in the red and that's what they're going off. They're listening to each other live on stage. If someone's gonna like do maybe like a little fill or go on with a solo or something, they'll really hint at that and everyone will hold back.
They know that's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've always thought that. You know, when you're like you know, in Boomtown, for instance, you act like Lions Den and there's like big band on, and then like they just go into something. I'm like, how did they know that bit was going to happen? Like, was it planned? Was it?
I think it's just
like
a lot of
like performance in
it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is just in the moment, like you feel it type thing. You really do. Like when you're absolutely smashing out a wicked session with a good band, mate, these are all so interconnected in what you're playing. You think like you take into consideration what they're playing when you're thinking about what you're going to play. Because you want it to match, you want to go hand in hand as much as you can. And I learnt a lot of like in terms of that. And listening out for other people and like being aware of what's going on stage. That's when I learned all that through my jazz degree because that's where that is so relevant.
I think a good vocalist as well, a good MC, like who's on the microphone at that time, can conduct it as well.
Oh, for
to let people like they're like, oh, he's killing it on the drums there, so now we're gonna strip it all back and show him off for it.
That's like when you're MCing
It's just about controlling an orchestra in a sense, isn't it?
And like, but as well, you all know this fine well just from being into your music, like, and you obviously doing music and DJing and producing and all that. You just being banging your tunes, you'll know it. You can feel when a tune's going to change. Tunes have got structure, the very good majority of them. And like even like when it comes to jazz or jungle or anything like that, 16-bar structures are like usually they're not paramount, but they are just the crack. You know what I mean? It feels natural. It feels want something different, or you repeat it. You know what I mean? And then you move on after that. And it's very much like that. And I feel like any single genre of music I've ever been involved with. You know what I mean? So there's like you need to take like all these things when you've been doing it for a while and like performing live and stuff. They just all kind of click. You know what I mean? But as well, I will also say, you know what I mean? It isn't a free for all 9 times out of 10. Like this is well rehearsed stuff. You stick to what we do. You know. I'd never take the piss me type thing. I'd never like go on for longer than I needed to, or just go off on a tangent unless I felt like I could. Which was mainly in jazz and stuff like that. But like the more,
which when the moment's right, which like you say, everyone else is reading the same thing as you.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know where you are. You know what I mean. Even if someone does go off over a solo section, it's not a completely different thing. They'll be soloing over the harmony of what's already been going on, like the verses and the choruses and the breakdowns.
They keep rolling down there, but then they just let them solo over the top,
exactly.
which is cool.
So, like in terms of the rest of the band and the rest of the musicians and stuff like that, they're still following the same thing that they've been following. You know what I mean? It's just there's something different happening over the top and like the main melody line and whatnot.
Yeah, man.
But no, man, I've had some absolutely mad moments on stage, mate. Proper have. And a lot got whipped into me with bad manners because the first time I played with them, they were the ones I played with in that good venue up in Edinburgh. I was shocking.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was
nerves in that
But you can't have been though, because like
no,
you might have
I
felt like
was.
it, but you can't have been if they were like.
No, I definitely was. But the crack was right. They kind of understood it, right. And basically, I'd played with them once before that, and that was in Borough. That was at that place we were just talking about. And they didn't expect me to know the set then. They didn't expect me to know the tunes, but they just wanted me to be involved and get an idea of it. You know what I mean? And then the next time I was playing with them was up in Edinburgh, and I was the only sax player. Usually there was two, so I had a lot of big like main lines where it was just me playing. I had a lot of solos, and literally that entire set list, I didn't get given any sheet music. I didn't get any parts. I listened to that entire set list. I put it in order on Spotify, and I just listened and I rehearsed. And I listened and I got it right.
What? So you got no sheet music to practice it at all?
They gave me that after this Edinburgh gig. They didn't realise I'd not been sent it. So I was like, "You know what I mean?"
Nice
Oh,
one.
they thought they'd give you it.
Yeah, they thought it had been sent over because at the end, you know what I mean. I came off and I had a face like a slapped ass, obviously because I knew how bad I'd done. It was so noticeable, and they were like, you know. You need to step it. You need to well, at first I need to step it up and stuff like that. Like that can't happen type thing. And I fully got it. I was really apologetic. And I was like, obviously, you know, it's like this is the second time I've been playing with you in such a short space of time. I'm like, I've literally been learning all the tracks by ear. And they're like, what? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know if no one sent me any parts or anything. Like, you're joking. I'm like, if you've learned already that by ear, then fair play. You know what I mean?
That's midnight.
Yeah, so it was their fault. I got the parts, played with them in Newcastle, and I absolutely smashed it.
Yeah,
It was like the best thing I've ever done, ever.
Unreal.
You know what I mean? Like, I came off and like. With the
Is that better
feeling
than being pally with Peter Andre?
Is that what do you think?
I like that.
But yeah.
Happy day. So you were saying obviously when you were talking about the job that you're in now, you've been working festivals and all that. So like, what's the crack with that then?
Festival work is just honestly, it's like for me, it's like this is the first year I've ever done it this year, and like, but I did it. You know what I mean? Obviously, because I had that time where I wasn't working. I was just I had to find work. I had to find graft.
Sorry, Jack, there's a beer, man.
Yeah, I need a beer actually. Where's mine?
We're all getting beers.
I've got a bigger one.
Nice one. That's how we do it on this Smodcast, you know what I mean? If you need a
Smodcast,
beer, you
yeah.
keep it rolling, dude.
Keep it rolling with the booze.
You know what I mean?
Oh, we're Bevlars.
Oh, I think mine's over there.
Well, we're not going to do that. Tell them off.
Been shouting at me for smoking, man.
You got that?
He's got a bottle opener.
Yeah, Jake's got it. Yeah.
It's alright.
I want to cook it.
We're,
I'm loving it so far, though.
Yeah, that's
is
sweet.
it in there? What is it? Yeah.
Big bottle.
Big one there.
Sound as.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Bottle opener there, please.
Cheers, boys.
Banging you.
Cheers, boys. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone. And 3, 2,
You know what,
1.
Why you just can't?
Back
I'm
in.
just gonna go for it.
Yeah, you carry on, mate. So, so tell us about the festival situation, then, mate.
So that all came about this year. It's something I've wanted to do for years. You know what I mean? It's a very hard thing to get into though, to work on like the good jobs. Like, you're not going to be working on the festival and stuff. Like they tend to be the roles like where you volunteer with the festival and all that student. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't want to be a part of that at all. Wanted to be like at least involved in some like form of working on a stage for one of the crews and stuff. And yeah, just be a bit more involved, you know what I mean, rather than just stewarding or lip picking, stuff like that. I was never interested in that, obviously.
I think a lot of people just do that for a ticket.
Well,
for
exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
which is fair play.
Yeah.
No, mate, literally, I've
Just
been
fair
in
play.
positions so many times over the years when we've been going to festivals and stuff where I have had to consider it just because I haven't had the money, but I didn't want to miss it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd have done anything I could to go. But yeah, it's just another one of them things for me where I wanted to do it for ages, and again, just getting in with the right people and like. That's what I'm mad about, just meeting people and making all these links and stuff. Yeah. And obviously, like, you know me, like, I'm in my prime when I'm at these places, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just like absolutely on top of the world. You know what I mean? It's proper everything. It's everything I'm about. Like working at festivals and stuff, just like having constant crack with people, obviously the music, like the ethos around the majority of them and stuff. It's very centred to everything I want to do.
Nice. And what sort of roles did you have working at the festivals? What were you doing?
So this year, I did a lot of like decor work mainly, and then Boomtown was the one where we literally had to build like the full thing out of just like any bit of material that we could.
What stage was it, sorry?
Lawless Cause of Justice.
Oh, right, okay,
So
yeah,
it's ran by Slinks.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
Is it
audio
not
yeah.
already
and all that.
already built that? Because like
No,
I know
it's just
that's
a
been
matter-
going there for a few years, hasn't it?
It has been
Yeah.
going there for time, yeah. I think pretty much since day one.
Just adding to it. Sort
Yeah,
of.
Lawless Hall.
It's
one of
been,
the-
it's been
I think that
like,
was
one
there
of the
back when
OGs, like.
my first Boomtown was 2013, and I think it was there then.
Yeah.
Like,
So what were you just adding to the already?
No, because all they get, like any of them street venues, like some of them are open air street venues, and the rest of them will be in like a marquee, like a gazebo type thing.
and obviously every year it'll be a different size, won't it?
Yeah, so like obviously
Like get a
this
big
year,
one,
like, was
next one small one. Like.
literally, yeah. So this year, like everything about Boomtown got kind of cut, but it worked, and in the best ways, it was unbelievable. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, they just like we rocked up on the day when we went down. This was a Sunday. We went down before it started, and it was just like this gazebo, like marquee thing, and that we then went round that and like obviously built the stage itself, which is just like steel deck, you know what I mean, stuff, big legs, and then just border all of outside with loads of like before like ply and stuff like that, and then decorate it and hang shit up, make loads of people made loads of the decor for it. So it was like with Jess Hammond, so Sam's lass, and she's well good at all that. She kind of does that. Like that's kind of her crack. That's kind of what she does for a living. Like where they live down there, they make all sorts for like all different festivals. Like just everything basically when it comes to like making something creative, like bit of decor. So I got on that with them, and then yeah, that's pretty much this year. Like I say, it's the first time I've done it, but that's pretty much just what I've been doing.
How many festivals did you do over the summer?
Bangfest, Bolter, Outlook.
Did you wear Outlook?
Nah, I just went
No,
to that.
just went.
Yeah, that was the most spontaneous weekend of my life. That. No intentions of going. I've moved out. I've moved to Jazz and Alex
Is that
on
the,
Friday.
The UK Outlook?
you went to do it
That's
after
good,
it
that.
started, didn't you?
Yeah. So it started on Thursday, but on the Friday, I'd literally just moved all my stuff at Jazz and Alex and sat down. And my mate had been on my back about potentially going with them the night before. And he just rang me. Literally just cracked a tin. He was like, "Look, there's a ticket there for you and a seat in the car, but we'll go in 45 minutes." I was just like. And then I just thought fuck on.
And them
That's
the
the
best ones though.
Yeah,
man,
oh,
best
man,
ones,
yeah,
mate.
absolutely.
You just like fuck it,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that last
Similar
minute.
thing when I went to Boomtown. That was the same thing. Wasn't even going to Boomtown, and then Mickey rang me, and he was like, "Oh, I can't finish this job here. Do you want to come and do this job for me?" And I was just like, "Yeah, sound." And I just went, didn't I? Like
Yeah.
2 days, like
You know for a fact though, like you know on them wins, like
Yeah, it was
like then
unbelievable.
you're gonna have the
Yeah.
best time.
And you know what?
Yeah.
It was such a different crew I've ever been to a festival with, because usually it's all our lot, and obviously over the years it's gotten so much bigger, hasn't it, in terms of who like we knock about with our festivals and just the group in general. But this one was like with a load of people that I've literally just met this year at the start of summer. Obviously, Sammy and Emma were there, Lara and Jakey, and that was that for like Borough Crew and stuff like that. And then it was just people I know from like Bristol, all the mates that I'd made in Leeds, like I said at the start of this year. So like the whole weekend was different, you know what I mean? And the lineup was.
Well,
Yeah,
Outlook's a bit of a
midnight
different
night.
vibe anyway, because it's usually not in the UK, isn't it?
It was, yeah, but I've never been, don't get me wrong, but a load of people were there that I know have been, and they were saying like they have kind of really kept like a lot of what you'd expect over there.
Do you know, because it's usually over there, was there a lot of like Europeans come over for it?
I don't, you know what, not that I noticed, because one thing I will say is they struggle to shift tickets.
Did they?
Yeah,
Because it's
like,
not mainland Europe, innit?
I don't know what happened, mate, because they had everything about it to a good festival. The site was mint. They had loads of unbelievable sound systems involved. You know what I mean? Every stage was
Yeah,
killer
it
sound
did look the
system.
bollocks like.
It
Oh,
did,
it's just
yeah.
It
class,
wasn't on a
but they
beach show,
didn't-
was it? Isn't it usually like?
That's usually one of the selling
But
points, isn't it? You go, it's like a holiday, and you
they
go
did
to
it
the
on, like,
place.
as
this
well
is-
there, it's mainland Europe, it's summer, and then like obviously all them people that are coming over there, like they can drive across borders and that.
Yeah.
It's a lot different when you're having to get a
After
flight.
flight,
or
Yeah,
jumping
that's
on a
right.
ferry
Like,
and that.
yeah, and especially with like fucking COVID and all that, you know,
Yeah,
and all that
yeah,
bollocks.
exactly.
Like,
But no, it was just God knows why, because I didn't get it, because the site itself, that it was almost unbelievable. It was on this estate, and they had like this massive lake there what you could swim in, but they had to shut it a couple of days before it started because of this like blue algae or something that infected the lake, so it was bad that you couldn't swim in it, like die and shit, you know what I mean?
I've been on that site
Well,
before. Like,
apparently it was
I
mint.
was
It was nice. It was just clean. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It felt like it didn't feel like any other festival I've been to. It felt like it was just really. You didn't see a bit of litter. You didn't see nothing. It
That's
was just
good.
bang on.
that's good.
Yeah, when I was doing the freelancing for that Connect, doing like the staging and that, we de-rigged the like a horse show on there.
All right.
It's got a big castle on the site.
Yeah.
now,
What was the site again? Where was
It's
it?
in
again?
Cheshire.
Cheshire, yeah, that
Yeah,
was it.
it's a nice.
You get out of all the
little
places as well, like Fairbear, like obviously, like having up in the north and all that. But for a festival, that like, you sort of want it down south as well, where it's going to be a bit warmer, a bit
Exactly.
nicer.
No, but like it's an orphanage running it.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, well, what's it called? My jiu-jitsu instructor,
Isn't
Matt.
it thingy from Tribe
He
Records?
used, yeah, Tribe Records. That's who it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Matt, who works with us. He used to work on Outlook and all that dimensions.
Yeah.
All
Well,
that.
like that's what I'm saying. It's there. isn't it?
Sam and Scott is how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Simon from Tribe, he's heavily involved with Outlook, obviously, like, he's got sub-dub and all that, doesn't he, and stuff.
Yeah, he's like a silent partner and sub-dub, isn't he?
Yeah.
If I've
It is,
quoted that right.
sub-dubs is.
Is it? Yeah. And then like Iration and like the.
Oh, he's been involved with Iration since day one, you know what I mean? Heavily involved with all that lot. But yeah, it was banging, absolutely banging weekend and stuff, so there's plenty of events.